Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Neelambujashya Malako Malangam Sita Samarupitavamabhagam Pano Mahasayakacharu Chapam Namami Rama Prabhuvam Shanatham Atulita Baladhamam Hemashailaabhadeham Tanujavana Krishanum Jnani Namagraganyam Sakala Guna Nidhanam Vanarana Madhisham Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Vatajatam Namami. Bhagavan has left Chitrakuta, and as he is moving through the forest, he is looking for somewhere else to stay. And on his way, together with Lakshmanji and Sitaji, he has met Atri Muni and also Anasuyaji. And having met them, they then depart from that ashram and they continue on their path. And as they are traveling, something beautiful is happening, in that the whole of nature recognizes that this is our Lord who is traveling through this forest, who is traveling on this path. And every part of nature then makes this journey most conducive for Bhagavan. The road becomes smooth, the clouds provide shade, there is not too much heat, it's not too cold. And as he is journeying on his way, Bhagavan, we saw, met this Asura Viradha, whom he granted liberation to actually, and sent to his Loka. And immediately after that, Bhagavan meets the sage Sharabhanga. This Sharabhanga Muni was on his way to Brahmaloka. Having done a lot of good karma, he had been given this result that he was to go to Brahmaloka. And so this is where we had seen that Bhagavan had met with him. And Sharabhanga Muni says, it's not, anything special that you met with me. It's not anything extraordinary, because this is your nature, and you have made this promise to your devotees. And even though I have not done anything to merit this meeting, still you are here, and I'm able to see you. And then Sharabhanga Rishi says, now Bhagavan, I have one request, and that is, please can you stay here until I am able to depart from this body. Taba lagi rahahu dina hita lagi. Please stay here for the sake of your helpless devotee. Jaba lagi milo tumahi tanatyagi. Until I leave my body and I'm able to meet you. And the Sharabhanga Rishi had done so much sadhana. Yoga, Jagya, Japa, Tapa, Brata, Kinha. He had performed so many practices. And finally, he asked for this boon of devotion. Having done all these things, really what he wanted was devotion. Prabhu kaha dei bhagati bara linha. He said, Bhagwan, please give me devotion. So all his austerity, all his practices that he had done had meant that he was going to Brahmaloka. But because of this devotion, he is able to meet with Bhagwan. So indirectly, what Tulasi is showing us is that, yes, those sadhanas, etc., are important and they will give you the result. But with devotion, the highest reward is available, and that is to see Bhagwan with one's own eyes. So in this way, this Sharabhanga Rishi is granted this boon of devotion. And he now makes his mind completely detached. He lets go of all his attachments. And he ascends his own funeral pyre. And he says to Bhagwan, as he's about to depart his body, Sita Anuja Sameta Prabhu Neela Jalada Tanusyam. O Bhagwan, together with Sita and Lakshman, you who have this beautiful form like a dark cloud, you have this very dark form. Mama hiya basahu nirantara. Please remain in my heart always. And he has a very specific request. He says, Saguna Rupa Śrī Rāma. Remain in my heart with your form, in your Saguna Rupa. Please stay with me, O Bhagavan. So this episode and the other episode which we will see today, we are being given a glimpse into the lives and the mind of devotees. And as we know, the first step to developing devotion ourselves is to be in the company of devotees, is to be in the company of those who have love for God. That in itself can be so transformative. That can be what leads us to devotion without any other practice. So this is the first step. And here, when we say we should spend time in the company of devotees, physically we may not be able to do so. But we can always, through this literature and through these stories, we can always bring our mind to be in the company of such great devotees of the Lord. So Sharabhanga Muni has met with Bhagwan, and having made this request that Bhagwan, please remain in my heart, now what happens? Tulasi continues after doha number 8. So this is where we are seeing from. Asakahi joga agini tanujara Rama kripa vaikuntha sidhara Tate muni hari lina bhayau Prathamahi bheda bhagati paralayau Rishi nikaya muni varagati dekhi Sukhi bhaye nija hridaya viseshi Astuti karahi sakal muni vrinda Jayati pranata hita karuna kanda Muni raghunatha chale bana aage Muni bar vrinda vipula sangalage Asti samoha dekhi raghuraya Puchi muni na lagi atidaya Janata hu puchiya kasa swami Sabadarasi tuma antar jami Nisi charani kara sakala muni khaye Suni raghuvir nayana jala chaye Nisi charahi na karau mahi पूजा उठाई पन कीन सकल मुनिन के आश्रमनी जाई जाई सुख दीन है। Sharabhanga Rishi says to Bhagavan, please stay in my heart with this most beautiful form of yours. And having said so, Joga Agini Tanujara, this Muni has done so much sadhana, he doesn't need any external fire to light this cremation fire. He is able to kindle this fire within his own body, and with that, his body gets burned. And Rama Kripa Vaikuntha Siddhara, by Bhagavan's grace, he ascends to Vaikuntha. Now we might say, somebody might ask, why does he go to Vaikuntha? Why doesn't he merge into Bhagavan? So Tulasidas says, Tate Muni Hari Leena na Bhayav. He is not becoming one, he is not becoming absorbed into Bhagavan. Prathama hi bheda bhagati bara layav. He has already been granted this boon of this bhakti in which this difference is maintained between bhakta and Bhagavan. And therefore he goes to Vaikuntha. Now, all the other sages who are also there, they are seeing what has happened to Sharabhanga Muni. Rishi Nikaya Muni Bara Gati Dekhi Sukhi Bhai Nija Hridaya Viseshi. They're all very happy to see that Sharabhanga has been granted this Gati. And Astutikarahi Sakale Muni Printa. And now they begin praising Bhagavan. And what do they say? Jayati Pranata Hita Karuna Kanda. Victory to Bhagavan, who is so compassionate and who is always looking after the well-being of his devotees. So they do Jai Jaikar. Siyavara Ramachandra ki Jai. Everybody's praising Bhagavan. They're so happy. Then Bhagavan continues in the forest. So again, now he has to keep moving. Right? So Tulsidas, she keeps us moving. He says, Puni Raghunatha chale bana aage. Bhagavan keeps moving forward in the forest. And he is followed by many sages. Munibara Brindas, this whole group of sages, Pipula Sangha Lage, they all continue to be with Bhagavan. They follow him. And now as he's moving through the forest, Bhagavan sees something. Asthi Samuha Dekhi Raghuraya. He sees like a big heap of bones, asthi. And so now he looks at all these munis and he's asking them, what is this? How has this happened? Puchi Munina Lagi Atidaya, filled with compassion that whoever this is has lost their life in such a way and their bones have just been left like this. So he asks them, and they say, Janatahu Puchya Kasa Swami. Oh Swami, how is it that you are asking us? You know everything. Sabadarasi Tuma Antarajami. You know everything. You are dwelling within the hearts of all people. Nisichara Nikara Sakala Muni Khaye. But still they are telling him, and they say, what has happened is these Rakshasas have devoured these munis. They've killed them, they've consumed them, and they've just left the bones like this here. And Bhagavan hears this and being full of compassion, Suni Raghuvira Nayana Jalachai, his eyes fill with tears. Such people have always been there in the world who want to cause destruction for their own cause or for their own whatever, to align with their own thinking. These Rakshasas are also doing this. So now Bhagavan is moved to compassion, but that compassion is not going to be the solution here. Right? When somebody is suffering or some wrong is happening, then we should feel compassion. But if it's within our power to do something, then it's important to also act, and not just for that compassion to be there within the mind. And that is exactly what Bhagavan has come for, right? So if he just is filled with compassion and he says, oh, this is very sad, I'm so sorry, they'll all say, okay, Bhagavan, but what are you going to do? Because you're the one who's supposed to do something. So now, Nisicharahina karau mahi, huja uthai panakina. Bhagavan raises his arms and he takes this vow that I will rid the earth of all these demons who are causing death and destruction everywhere they're going. He says, I will remove them all. Sakalas munina ki ashamani jai jai sukhadina. And then, having said this, already they're reassured, right, that Bhagavan now will take care of us. But in addition, he goes to each of their ashramas, he visits them, and he makes them all happy in this way. Bhagavan can't just go to one Rishi's ashrama and then say, okay, now I really have to go. Because everyone will say, how come you went to his and you didn't come to mine? You have to go to everybody's ashram. So Bhagavan does that. And then he keeps moving. Now, there is this really, really beautiful episode that comes next, where Bhagavan meets one particular devotee. And the way Tulasidasa narrates this is, it's just so sweet. And when you read particularly episodes like this, you remember that this Ramcharitmanas really speaking is for us to also develop this devotion. The way that he narrates it is exactly for this purpose, that our hearts are also filled with this bhava. So now there's a very long, 12 chopais. So we will just read 1 to 5 and then we'll stop and then we'll see the rest. Okay. So now after doha, 9. Muni aggastikara sishya sujana namasuti chanarati bhagavana manakrama bachana rama pada sevaka sapane hu ana bharosan devaka Prabhu agavanu shravana suni bhava karata manoratha atur dhava he vidhi dina bandhu raghuraya mose satha par kari hidaya Sahita anuja mohi Rama gosai mile hahi nija sevaka ki nai more jiya bharosa dridha nahi bhagati birati na jnana man mahi nahi sat sanga joga jap jaga Nahi dridha bachana, nahi dridha charana kamala anuraga. Ek bani karuna nidhana ki, Śrīpriya jaake gati na aanaki. Koi hai safal aaj mamlochan. देखी बदन पंकज भव मोचन निर्भर प्रेम मगन मुनि ज्ञानी कही न जाई सो दशा भवानी there was one disciple of Agastya Muni, one Shishya who was Sujana, who was very, very intelligent, very wise. That Shishya, his name was Sutikshana. So in Awadhi, Sutichana, but in Sanskrit, Sutikshana, his name will be. And this Sutikshana, Rati Bhagavana, he loved Bhagavan. He had so much devotion. So now there is this story which explains what is happening here. And this story is that this Sutikshna was a great student of this Agastya Muni. And also this word that he's used, Shishya, is very appropriate. There is a difference between disciple and devotee. And Puja Gurudev used to say that the disciple is one who has accepted the discipline of the Guru. So this Sutikshna was most beloved and a very good student of Agastya Muni. And he completed all his studies with Agastya Muni. And then once he was done, he went to his Guru and he said, please tell me what Guru Dakshina I can give you. Because, I've learned so much and I really want to give something. So Agastya Muni said, you've learned so well, you've studied so well. I'm, pleased with your learning. That's the most important thing for me. And I don't want any Guru Dakshina. You don't need to give me any. Now this Sutikshna, he felt that, okay, my Guru is saying he doesn't want anything, but I really want to give something. I really, and so he goes back to his Guru and he says, no, please, you just tell me something that I can give you. Please, I don't feel good just leaving from here and not giving you any offering. So Agastya Muni, he says, but I've already told you I don't want anything. And Sutikshna keeps insisting. Finally, Agastya Muni says, fine. I want you in Guru Dakshina to bring Rama to this ashram. Bring Bhagavan. And until you have brought him, don't come back to this ashram. You're not allowed inside. So now Bhagavan is not just somebody who you can go knock on his door and say, hey, Bhagavan, please come, I need you, right? Or not something that you can just purchase and bring along. So this Sutikshna, he didn't complain or he didn't say anything, but he accepted whatever his Guru had said. And he himself was so devoted to Bhagavan. Manakrama Bachana Rama Pada Seva. In his thought, in his actions, and in his speech, he was just a sevak of Bhagavan. Means everything he did was in dedication to Bhagavan. He had such great love and devotion. Sapanehu ana bharosana devata. And even in his dream, he would not think of any other deity. Means his love for his Ishta and his relationship with Ram as his Ishta Devata was so strong that he wouldn't see any other deity. He would only like to see Bhagavan. And what is said actually is that this Agastya Muni was also a great devotee. Right? It's not like he wasn't a devotee. But it's said that Sutikshna even, it's like he almost surpasses his Guru in terms of how devoted he is. And the relationship between Guru and Shishya is such that if the Shishya surpasses the Guru is happy about it. He doesn't think, hey, how come he's trying to be better than me? The Guru becomes so pleased. So this Sutikshna was so devoted to Bhagavan. And what he did after Agastya-ji told him that, I want you to bring Ram as your Guru Dakshina, he left the ashram and he went to another place in the forest. He didn't go anywhere too far away, but he went to another place. And there he started doing his whatever practices and sadhana. Now one day, there is one day, meaning when Bhagavan has started his journey through the forest and he's left Chitrakuta, somebody comes to Sutikshna and he says, hey, did you know Bhagavan is coming? Means Rama is coming. Prabhu agavanu shravana sunipava. Once he now hears that Bhagavan is coming, karata manoratha atura dhava. Now, he immediately, as soon as he hears this, karata manoratha, means he starts turning over and over in his mind. All of these different thoughts start coming, and he starts imagining. But he doesn't stay where he is and start thinking about how he will meet Bhagavan. He jumps up and he starts running. He's so excited. He just starts running. And what is he thinking? Hey, Bidhi, means he's imagining as though he's talking to his fate, or he's talking to Bhagavan as the creator. Dina Bandhu Raghuraya, this Lord of the Raghus, who is a great friend to all those who are helpless. Mo se satha parak kariha hidaya. Will he be compassionate and gracious to someone like me? And how Sutikshna ji describes himself as satha. Satha means like just someone who is so wretched and who really isn't of good character. He says, will he be compassionate to me? In other words, will I be able to meet him? Sahita Anuja Mohi Rama Gosai, together with his younger brother, Rama, who is Goswami, means he is a master of his senses. That is what Goswami means. Milihahi Nija Sevaka Ki Nai, will he meet me as his own sevaka? And earlier it was said, right, that Bhagavan loves those who serve him, those who serve. He loves sevakas. So now he's wondering, will Bhagavan meet me? So now we might think, if he's such a great devotee of Bhagavan, why should he have any doubt, right? Why is he wondering, will Bhagavan meet me or not? Already Tulasidasa has said that he is servant of Bhagavan in mind and speech and action. But what he is thinking, more jiya bharosa dridha nahi. I don't have any firm conviction in my heart. And bhagati birati na jnana manamahi. In my mind, I don't have devotion. I don't have dispassion. I don't have knowledge. Means he has all those things, but this is his humility, right? That he feels, I have nothing to recommend me to Bhagavan. I have done nothing by which I might win his favor and by which he might look favorably upon me. I don't have any of these inner qualities. I don't have faith, I don't have devotion, dispassion, knowledge. Nahi sata sanga yoga japa jaga. I have not, been in any great satsang. I have not done any yoga. I have not done any japa. I have not done any great yajnas, sacrifices. Nahi dridha charana kamala anuraga. And I don't have this very firm faith or devotion and love for Bhagavan's lotus feet. So he is wondering now, for this reason, will Bhagavan meet me? Okay. But he reassures himself in his mind, Eka bani karunani dhanaki. There is one thing about this Bhagavan who is all compassionate, which makes me feel confident that I will meet him. And what is that? So priya jaake gati na anaki. Those who are beloved of Bhagavan, they are those who don't take refuge in anyone or anything else. In life, if we want something, there is always something we have to give. Okay? Very simple example. If you want to buy something, then you have to pay something. Okay? You have to pay the price. If you want to achieve something, then you may not have to pay, but you will have to give some time and some effort. So whenever we want to gain something, we always have to give something. And according to how valuable that thing is, we will have to give more. Okay? If you want to buy something that is very precious, very valuable, you can't expect generally to buy it for, especially not nowadays, 10 pounds or something, right? If it's very precious, the price will be higher. In the material world, we expect this, right? We know that if we want something good, we'll have to pay. Means we'll have to give something. Somehow, this doesn't translate to our spiritual journey. Not for everyone, for some people it does. In this spiritual pursuit, whether we are looking to know God or to know the self, which is pointed out as the ultimate goal of life, which is pointed out as the very highest thing that any human being can ever achieve, for some reason we don't feel that this is something I should be prepared to pay the price for. We feel like, this is something that should come easily. But if it's the most precious thing in life, there will be something that we have to give. And so generally what we feel is, okay, if I do all these sadhanas, and if I try and cultivate Shraddha, Bhakti, Vairagya, knowledge, etc., then maybe I can know Bhagavan. Here what Sutikshna ji is telling us, that actually what all that Bhagavan cares about is our bhava. Means if somebody is wholly surrendered only to Bhagavan, and is not depending on anything else, is not taking refuge in anything in this world or any person, then that's what Bhagavan values. So priya jaake gati na anaki. That's what's important to Bhagavan. And later we'll see that with Hanumanji, etc., that he has completely surrendered, and that's why Bhagavan is also he loves him so much. So this is something for us to bear in mind, okay? That if we are seeking God, then one, we should be prepared to offer our time and offer our effort. We should be prepared to give up those things which are precious to us. And to realize the self, we have to give up not anything external, we have to give up our own ego. That's what has to be given up. That's not an easy task. That's something that will take effort. But in bhakti, just this single pointed devotion and surrender to Bhagavan, that's what's important. So Sutikshna ji is now, he is reassured. This if you remember when Bharatji was coming to Chitrakuta, Bharatji, whenever he thought of Bhagavan, he would take 2 steps forward. And whenever he thought about himself, he would take 2 steps back. So the important thing is, don't think about yourself and just think about Bhagavan, and you will be able to keep moving forward in life. Now Sutikshnaji says, Koi hai suphala aaj mama lochan. Today my eyes will be fulfilled. Means the purpose of having this human body and having these eyes, that will be fulfilled. Dekhi badana pankaja bhava mochana. Why? Because I will see the lotus face of Bhagavan, who is bhava mochana, who is the one who liberates from this samsara. Earlier also that was said that those who don't with their eyes see Bhagavan, their eyes are like, you know on peacock feathers, those beautiful, they have such beautiful, this iridescent colors, but they have this particular pattern on their feathers. Okay, and that pattern looks a little bit like an eye. So earlier what was said, those who don't see Bhagavan with their eyes are as good as the eye on the peacock feather. In other words, there is nothing achieved by having such eyes. You might as well not see if you're not able to see Bhagavan with your eyes. So he says, today they will be fulfilled because I will see Bhagavan. Nirbhara prema magana muni jnani. Now this muni is filled with this nirbhara prema. So we saw the meaning of that last time, that nirbhara means whose responsibility to maintain that bhakti that belongs to Bhagavan. That is nirbhara prema. Kahi na jai so dasa bhavani. So now Bhagavan Shiva is telling Parvati ji that his state at that time cannot be described. So Bhagavan Shiva loves Śrī Rāma, but whenever any stories of devotees comes, also Bhagavan Shiva loves that. So now he is narrating to Parvati ji what is happening to Sutikshna ji. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.